أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة لأهل التقوى واليقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المأسومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله الحكيم في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قولوا للناس حسنا صدق الله العلي العظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, as I've been asked to talk about this topic, how should we act or react in the society that we're living in amongst the believers and amongst some disbelievers, people who of the book, people of other faiths. So there has to be, based on the Holy Quran, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ. The Holy Quran very clearly says, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا إِلَى كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ. Come and let's meet and focus on the common grounds between us. تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بيننا وبينكم. So all the people of the book believe in a God. So when they believe in God, then inshallah that is a common thing. Then they all believe in Adam, the people of the book, Jews, Christians, Zoroastrians. And there are others who also believe in Adam. So Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, then Adam and Hawa, Eve. They also believe in Hazrat Adam and Hawa alayhi salam. They believe in Noah, Hazrat Nuh. They believe in Ibrahim alayhi salam. So we have many, many things in common. They all believe in Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob. So there are so many prophets they all believe in, David, Moses. And then the Jews do not believe in Jesus and onwards. So we believe in Jesus. With the Christians, we have more in common. And then amongst the other Muslims, we have other things in common. The Holy Prophet ﷺ. And so there are many things in common between the societies that we live in. I would emphasize that we must keep in contact. And tomorrow, if there are any problems, God forbid, then it will be the people who know us. If there is no interaction, then they will not defend. They will only defend us if they know that what the propaganda against is that we're terrorists and that we're not terrorists if they have an interaction with us. So interacting with the local society is extremely important, and interaction is of many different types. One is that we only meet on religious events or certain political issues, or I don't know. So there is only an official interaction. Second is that no, there is not only just a official interaction, but there is the common people meet each other. They have businesses together. They come and shop together. They meet each other. That is very important, and people need to see eye to eye. Third is that even they are your neighbors, so on important occasions like Christmas and other occasions, whenever you can, Diwali, I don't know, sending them cards and sending them sweets or whatever, something to express your gratitude. And the society must believe in harmony, and that harmony only comes through interaction. So there is some sort of interaction that is necessary. Now, قُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. What about the Ahlul Bayt? The Holy Prophet did not shun the disbelievers. He was preaching, so he had a responsibility. But once he settled down and he made his own state, Medina was his government. And then certain things, the Makkah and Medina had to be clean. But then the people were not killed or they were not persecuted. They were allowed to live and let live. So the society, when it was formed, the Jews and Christians, they were under the protection of the Islamic State. They were allowed to stay there and live there. So when they were staying there, they had, their own religious places. They had the practices. So, La ikraha fi din. The Holy Quran says very clearly that there is no compulsion in religion. You cannot force a person to become a Muslim. Yes, he did preach, but he did not impose upon anyone to become Muslims. He did not enforce his religion onto other people. There was no compulsion. But yes, the law of the land applies to all the people. So when we live in their countries, we also abide by the laws of the land. And it is a must that we obey the laws. For example, you cannot say, oh, this is not an Islamic state, so I can cross the red traffic light. No, those are a must. All of our fuqaha say that it is a must, and you must obey the law of the land. So you cannot break the traffic lights or anything. So if anything which is forbidden against the law, stealing the taxes or whatever, you cannot break the law. So abiding by the laws of the land is a must. And then there are two qualities that we must all possess in Muslim society or non-Muslim society. I can't believe that certain people, Muslims, believe that you can lie or be dishonest to disbelievers. No. The Holy Prophet ﷺ, our ulama say that he has two lives. He lived in Mecca and then he lived in Medina. So he had a life amongst disbelievers and a life amongst believers. Medina, where he formed his own state and he lived amongst Muslims. And Mecca, where he lived amongst non-Muslims. And in Mecca, he was known to be Sadiq and Amin, the truthful and trustworthy. It is a must that all Muslims possess these two qualities. They must be all truthful and they must all be trustworthy. So honesty is the best policy. It is. You cannot even lie to non-Muslims, and you cannot be untrustworthy even to non-Muslims. Imam Sajjad al-Islam says that even if the murderer of my father, means Shemr, even the murderer of my father, if he comes and gives me the sword that he used to kill my father as an amanat, as a means, like as an endowment. So he says, okay, you keep it and I'll take it back later. I will not do khiyanat. If he gives it as for me to, to return to him, I will return it to him. Because yes, he's evil and he has used that sword to kill my father, but when he trusts me, when he has trust in me to keep something, I will return it. Can you imagine the honesty and the trustworthiness of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad alayhi salam? So it is a must. So even with disbelievers, you cannot steal from them, you cannot trick them, you cannot lie to them, you cannot break the laws. So the law of the land is a must that you follow. So how do we interact with them? There has to be, when najasat and taharat comes, you have to keep an arm's distance. So you do not adapt their teachings and their practices. You don't believe, for example, son of God, or I don't know that alcohol is allowed, or stealing, or gambling. So the things that they believe are halal, which are haram to us, you do not pick up those things from them. So you keep your distance, so much so that you do not, but they are tahir, they are pak, but so they are clean. Ritually, our Maharaja say that they are clean now. So, but you still keep an arm's distance, so you do not adapt to their wrong practices. You try and only take the good practices from them. For example, they are punctual, they are truthful, I don't know, they are hardworking, or they are intellectual. Just pick up good habits from them, but do not pick up any wrong habits like drinking, like God forbid fornication, or any other corruption. Do not pick up corruption from them. So interaction should only teach you good things. Al-hikmatu dhallatul mu'min. Wisdom is a lost property of a believer. Aynama tajiduhu khuduhu. Wherever you find wisdom, take it. Knowledge and wisdom, any knowledge is a lost property of a believer. So you should learn, even walau min inda ahlin nafaq, even from hypocrites or even from disbelievers. So you should learn good habits from them. You should learn the sciences, knowledge, good habits, punctuality, cleanliness, organization, management. There are so many things to learn for us, from believers and disbelievers alike. So interaction should be now business. Business itself has its own terms and conditions. So try and read on to the terms and conditions and give good example to them. Now, what in the business that you learn from them, and then also teach them. They should see, and when they see the good behavior of believers, and they say, okay, Muslim, last time I gave a Muslim a business contract, he was so good, I'm always going to now rely upon Muslims. Not that last time I trusted a Muslim or a Shia, and they were so bad, I'm not going to trust them anymore. So we should always lay good examples. The interaction in business, most of the good examples you lay is not in the prayers and fasting, is in business. Do you know how Indonesia converted? They were disbelievers. It was basically the Muslim businessmen who went from Yemen, and many of them were Sayyids from the progeny of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. And there are still people from, there are so many Sayyids in Indonesia, Malaysia. Muhammad Dibaj basically went to that country, the grandson of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, or the great grandson, and that's how people converted. They looked at the behavior, the business behavior, ethics. So it is your ethics, business ethics. What are the business ethics? Number one, every Muslim, the Holy Prophet says that there are three business ethics. These are known to be the business ethics today, but the Holy Prophet said Muslims should know how to read and write. So reading and writing, literacy is very important. Number two, they should have accounts, keeping accounts. The Holy Prophet says hisab. So basically, accounts, accountability, meaning keep your profits and losses and everything, keeping accounts. Today, that's a must from the government. They say that if you're freelance, businessman, you have to keep your own accounts. You should have an accountant. So keeping accounts. And number three, you should know your halal and haram, things which are forbidden and things which are allowed. So business is one of the best things where you're interacting with people. You teach them about the Islamic teachings, and that's how you would be laying good examples on the non-Muslims. When you say, okay, sorry, this is not allowed. I'm not allowed to sell pork. I'm not allowed to sell, alcohol. Well, they may dislike it, or, well, I want to buy it. But why? Give reasons. The pork does not, doesn't have the neck in it, cannot pray, cannot do sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All other animals do. Always give them reasons, and it also eats its own dead. It eats waste. So anything which eats waste, we do not eat it because it is full of, dirty things, and it is full of filth. So therefore, always give logical reasons for why you don't do certain things. Oh, this is forbidden. I cannot do this. So give reasons, and so interaction is sharing of information and sharing of intellect. So always lay good examples to other people. When you give good examples, then they will surely respect you. And then they should see you smiling. One of the most beautiful things about interaction is that akhlaq. When someone came to him, Sadiq Islam, he said, Maula, I'm going to do tabligh. What should I follow? What should I do? He said, Kunu du'ata linnasi bighayri alsinatikum. You're going for preaching, then call them to Islam, but do not use your tongue. He said, hang on. I'm going to be preaching. How do I preach without tongue? Not using my... He said, meaning preach with your practice and not by just words. So preaching to the people with your, interaction with the Jews and Christians, with other people of the faith, through your actions. They will see that this person is well behaved. So your actions speak louder than words. Do not say, Islam says this. Put it into practice. They should see the greatest preaching is through your actions. And the biggest action is akhlaq. Akhlaq is through smile. Smiling is very important. Don't be abusan qamtarira, the Holy Quran says, don't be abus. Abus is, someone who is frowned, always making a face and, eyebrows stuck up. So, don't be, of harsh behavior. Be kind, smile, talk softly, talk kindly. Talking to people kindly is very important. So the most important thing interaction is with the other people, with non-Muslims, is to behave. Be on your best behavior. Don't be ill behaved. So there are many, many things in business, but um, it's important that we know that, the terms and conditions, that when you buy and sell things, there are 2 weeks. Likewise, there are many terms and conditions in Islam. Doesn't matter. Follow the law of the land, but there are laws. So teach them. Contribute to the society intellectually. Be learned. Be the top doctor. Be the top engineer. Be the top architect. Be the most learned person in the society in whatever field you go in. Our Aimma alayhi salam have said that. Our Maraji also say that. So the sixth Imam Islam says that if you live in a society where there are 100,000 people living, so one hadith says mi'at alf, and one hadith says alf, meaning 1,000,000 people live, and you are only Shia there. Be the best person. So when the people look at you, they say, this is the Shia of Jafar ibn Muhammad alayhi salam. Be so kind to the people that they say, they praise us when they look at you. What does it mean, be the best in the society? Even if in a population of 100,000, be the best. Meaning, be the best on your behavior, be the best businessman, be the most learned in knowledge, be the best. Our ulama say, be the best in knowledge. So you should be, any Shia, you should be intellectual. Intellectual Shias will always make good impression on the entire society. But if you are not learned, if you are not educated, if you are not amongst the cream of the society, they will not respect your religion. They respect the religion. How come Islam spread in the Middle East and in many of those countries like in Far East, in Asia, so well, and not in Europe so well? Because in Asian countries, when the Muslims were migrating to India, Pakistan, they were, the subcontinent and to Far East, they were businessmen, they were conquerors, they were providers of the sustenance, they were providers of food and businesses, so they were the leaders in intellect, in, teaching the people in, so they were leaders in businesses and in intellect. So the people became impressed and they converted. In Europe, we came as immigrants looking for better jobs and, better future, for gaining knowledge from them, from learning from them, and making money from them. So obviously it doesn't make a good impression. So we need to, even if we've come to learn, then we become so learned that we start teaching in the universities and we become the top. So interaction should be either on equal basis, or that you are intellectually higher to make a better impression. You are intellectually, in business, in intellect, you are better. That's when you make a good impression. When they see you as role models, when they see you as the equals or upper end, that's when they're impressed, and that's when they become Muslims. When they look at the Quran as a better solution than Torah and Bible, when they look at the traditions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ as better outputs than Moses, Jesus, and David, and everyone, when they look at the words of Imam Ali alayhi salam as better intellectual solutions than the greatest of the philosophers, that's when they will come. And when they see the solutions and traditions of the Aimma alayhi salam. Now today in the society, when there is economical crisis, where are the Muslim economists and say that Islam has solution? You come and give the solution. People will refer to Islam because of you. They will say, yes, this is a religion that has solution. When capitalism is collapsing and people are discussing now, probably the communism was right, probably socialism was right, probably that we need. This is the time when the Muslims need to come in and say, we have the solutions. So the interaction would be, so you can get married to the Jews and Christians, but only men. But, men can get married. But this is, sometimes you misuse these concepts, unfortunately. So, all of that interaction has to be on a level where you are intellectually either equal to them or better than them. We are in an age where people are looking for solutions. I remember that there were huge problems in prisons. we needed to come out and say that we have solutions. Islam has given a solution. Um, Likewise, you know, in farming, there were problems. Now they're saying that we need to have organic farming, organic food, organic fruits, and where are the Muslims to contribute in any of these things? And even if they do contribute, there is no Islamic aspect to their life. Ayat, riwayat, if we can use and then produce those works and our research, people will turn to Islam in economical crisis, in every aspect. When we give solutions from in medicine, that you know there are, when the Muslims were contributing, the likes of Avicenna, Ibn Sina, so many intellectuals, but where are the people today? The first concept of sewerage and the roadsides and the light on the roads, the whole concept of streets and keeping dirt separate, the Muslims gave this whole concept from Medina. They took it to North Africa, and the Egyptians developed it. We gave it to the others, and the others have now, there is a whole science, there is a whole department of the city development that the Westerners have developed. Where are the Muslim developers? So we have to contribute intellectually to the society. When the people say, okay, the Muslims were in a time, the golden age of the Muslims, but today it is not our golden age. There are, so many things that we need to do. Yes, the first university was founded by the Muslims, but where are the Muslim top universities now? We need to contribute. We need to contribute in every aspect, in science and technology. We need to contribute in medicine and engineering, in everything, as Muslims and as followers of the Quran and the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And so then this interaction will have positives. In business, for example, banking. Today it is no good saying interest is haram and then have no solutions. There are billions and billions of dollars every day, that there are transactions of billions of dollars every day happening in the world. Trillions probably. So we need to make sure that we contribute positively. We contribute, when we are interacting, then we have positive contributions. I want to say a few stories from personal life. So sometimes, like the Christians like to preach, and they like to convert, and there are some 2.2 billion Christians in the world and 1.8 billion Muslims, probably more now. These are old figures. The world's population is increasing so fast. So they like to preach, and so I went to some Christians, and I was holding my daughter in my arms. She was newborn, my first daughter, and I think it was a driving test we had gone for, me, my wife, and my daughter. And my wife was sitting the driving test, so I was standing outside. And this girl who had also sat the test, and she came out, and I saw a cross in her, in her neck, and she looked at me, and like in Europe, families are suffering badly, so she saw that, oh, this is a family man. He said, oh, is this your daughter? I said, yes. So she looked at her, and I don't know, she said something, and she left, and then she turned around, she said, oh, by the way, Jesus loves you. So she was preaching to me. I really liked it, and I said to myself, look, if a Christian can do it, then why can't I? I'm supposed to be a preacher. I could have said something nice. Oh, by the way, Allah loves you, or Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we should always don't overdo it, that people start to feel awkward, and over. Sometimes we overdo it. Some of the Muslims are overdoing tabligh, but you have to be in such a positive way that when we are preaching, that it has an impact on people. It has a positive impact on the society. It has an intellectual impact on people. So the tabligh is not burdensome. Don't become a burden. The Holy Quran says, لو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك. If you were of abrupt behavior. If the Holy Prophet was not of kind nature, then everyone would have left him. The Holy Quran says, it is your immaculate and kind behavior that you have attracted everyone to yourself. So it is extremely important that our behavior is not waqulu, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Hazrat Musa and Harun to go and preach to Pharaoh, even to Pharaoh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, waqula lahu qawlan layyina. And when you even go to Pharaoh, then be kind. Qawlan layyina. Speak to him softly. Does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not know that he's not going to convert? But qula lahu qawlan layyina. Speak to him softly, nicely. And there are some people who don't listen until you shout at them, but generally most of the people want softness and kind behavior. So we need to preach to the people kindly. Speak to the you don't need to preach and to convert them. Yes, if people convert. But if no one at least they have a soft corner for the Muslims in their heart. So at least they respect Muslims. So behave in such a way that they respect Muslims and they have a soft corner for the Muslims. Third is, even you give zakat. There are 8 categories in the Holy Quran that you give zakat for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for mosques. You give sadaqah and zakat to the poor people, the deserving, the orphans, and وَلِمُؤَلَّفَةِ قُلُوبِهِمْ, and to soften the hearts of the people. To who are mu'allafatul qulub? Disbelievers, to the people of the book. You give zakat, khairat, you give charity to them to soften their hearts. So do a lot of charity work in these bad times when there is coronavirus. You can interact with people of the book, with so many Christians in America and other places who don't have the food to eat at night. Go and supply food. Oh, this is from the Muslims. I don't know. You have Husaynia Foundation. I don't know. What is it? Husaynia in Seattle. Hussein, this is from Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This is from the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh, this food is from Imam Mahdi for you. So one night you go and distribute food to people on the streets. So just distributing, simple, sandwiches or whatever, halal food, and just say to them, this bottle is from Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This water is from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Month 15th Ramadan is coming. You say, this is from Imam Hassan alayhi salam. The grandson of the Holy Prophet has sent you some water. Our interaction should be such that we have a positive impact. If there is no impact, then what interaction? You must have positive, impact on the people. That's when you should interact, when you have positive outcome. So we used to go to the church, and then they used to give me a speech, and I used to speak about Islam, and they said, we want to learn about Islam, and just teaching them about Islam, and they were asking questions. I could tell that I had a positive impact, even if I could not convert many people. More than 90% of the people, more than 99% of the people I could not convert, but even then they respected me or Islam because of the words that I was using and the things that I was saying to them. So it is extremely important that we say things, and if we're always prepared, that we lay very good impression. Where Imam Ali Islam says to Hazrat Malik Ashtar, oh Malik, you're going to Egypt, remember one thing, Annas, the people, imma akhul laka fid deen, they're either your brothers in faith or nadhirun laka fil khalq, or they're either your equals in humanity. The impact is going to be positive if we are positive, if our thought is positive, if our behavior is positive, if our conduct is positive, if our interaction is positive. If we are intellects, then we will have an intellectual impact on them. So I think it is important that our interaction with Muslims and non-Muslims, with everyone, with Shias, with other people, is respectful, is positive, intellectual, and even our business dealings honest, reliable, trustworthy, and um, it is with truthfulness, righteousness. All of those things, I promise you, will have an impact. Whenever you meet good people, you leave good impact on them. When you practice your religion and you're just kind to people, and you have all of those, the list of things that I'm saying, and there are so many other things that you have. If you have those, then you will have a positive impact on all of those people about your faith. Let's pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, give us a tawfiq to read, understand, and practice the Holy Quran. Oh Allah, make us follow the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Oh Allah, there are so many human beings still unaware of you, about your book Quran, about your Prophet. Oh Allah, give us tawfiq to serve your religion kindly and sincerely. Oh Allah, help us teach other people about Quran. Oh Allah, we can even just post just some ayat from the Holy Quran about humanity, about Jesus. Oh Allah, help us give the right message of the Holy Quran to the people. Oh Allah, help us choose the right selection of the words from the Holy Quran and send them onto sometimes internet, onto into just a message in the holy month of Ramadan from Quran, just like a part. Oh Allah, help us in newspapers, on, I don't know, on television. Oh Allah, help us truly preach the religion properly. Oh Allah, help us interact and interact with the local population in the way you want us to interact with them. Oh Allah, increase in the tawfiq of all the people who are organizing these lectures and these sessions. And oh Allah, remove all the oppression and tyranny from the surface of the earth. Hasten in the reappearance of the 12th Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. Oh Allah, remove this coronavirus from the surface of the earth. Cure all the Muslims and non-Muslims and Shias from this illness. And oh Allah, give all of us, the listeners and organizers, all of us a long life with health, wealth, and prosperity, with faith in you and your Prophet and the Holy Progeny and Quran. Oh Allah, there are many people who have asked us to pray for them. Oh Allah, accept their du'as. Oh Allah, accept our good deeds in the month of Ramadan. Accept our fasts and prayers. And all the deceased mu'mineen, bless their souls. Oh Allah, our marhumeen, the people listening, and bless their souls and resurrect them with Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. And give us and our deceased marhumeen the intercession of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم.